Hi peeps! It's Friday here while I'm recording. I hope you are all doing well out there in the world. This is going to be the final kind of addendum to video 10 in the Tarot and Witchcraft series. One of you had asked if I would just kind of add to this subject in regards to discussing forgiveness, in regards to how that factors into what we discussed in the last few videos, which was around soul and ego, and then victim blaming or toxic positivity in regards to the theory, the idea, the belief that as souls we choose our incarnations and choose perhaps some of the experiences we're going to have in those incarnations. So this will be my insight, my thoughts into forgiveness. So there's this very trite kind of, I guess I'll use the word platitude that goes around in the spiritual community about, well, forgiveness is for you, it's not for them, and just offer forgiveness, just practice forgiveness. I think that sounds really beautiful and easy to say that. But forgiveness, I believe, what I have discovered over the years is that forgiveness is really a journey, and it's not something that you can explore until you're ready to. What forgiveness really has to do with, for me, and how I approach it in my work with others, is the process of releasing the way in which an experience with another person, place, or thing has affected you to the point that it's holding you back perhaps, or it's not allowing you to be present in your current experience in your life in the way in which you want to. But there's a lot of things that happen before you step into forgiveness. And a lot of those things have to do with embracing the full spectrum of emotion and the full spectrum of the experience. So the emotion attached to the experience and the experience itself as a whole for you. It's also a process. So you don't just wake up one morning and say, I forgive this person, and you're fine and everything is fine, and you move forward and you never think about it again. There are layers and layers to forgiveness in the same way that there are layers and layers to ourselves. So it's not something where that's one and done, where you say, I forgive this person and it's done, right? It's something that you'll probably come back to over years, perhaps for the rest of your life. You'll be able to revisit forgiveness in a new way 5 years from now in regards to this person or the experience you had with that individual. So it's very important to understand from my perspective as a reader, as a healer, that it's not like this and it's done. It's also not something you just say. Forgiveness is something that is felt to me. And I'll use myself as an example for this. I wasn't able to forgive until I felt the forgiveness in my heart for certain people that I've had experiences with in my life. And there was such a beauty and compassion and grace that came with the experience of forgiveness that it was very easy and powerful to flow with that for myself. Now, me being me, I chose to engage in ritual to mark that occasion. And there's some beautiful ritual work you can do around stepping into the energy of forgiveness, processing an experience, and then beginning to offer forgiveness. But it's something that you feel and that you experience. It's not something that you think into being. So you can't force yourself. And I think in a lot of ways in the spiritual community that we're all navigating through at this time, there's often this push, this kind of forcing you to just forgive. Just do it. Just do it. And it's not something that is that easily stepped into from my perspective. And so if you're someone who's on a journey where you're coming to terms with things that have happened in your life, or you're stepping into shadow work, or you want to offer yourself or an individual or an experience forgiveness, or you just want to fucking move on from a shitty time period in your life, Don't force yourself into forgiveness, into the experience of forgiving someone else or forgiving yourself. It's a process, it's a journey. And if you're going to start that journey, or if you really want to start that journey, I would encourage you to start with emotions that you have around the experience, or an identification of a pattern you've developed based on the experience itself. Those are really beautiful windows and ways in to understanding the experience as a whole for yourself, allowing yourself to fully feel and process it, and then offer forgiveness and move forward. To me, the forgiveness piece is an experience, and I think it's a really great place to start that journey for yourself with the truth of the emotions for you in regards to that person, place, thing, experience, etc. So you have to honor your real feelings, and Kalima and Sekhmet are beautiful goddess energies to connect with that allows you to tap into and access sacred rage. Anger and rage are not something to be avoided, even though we're taught that, good Christians or good people never feel anger because it's inappropriate, it's not right. That's not the case. Anger and rage serve very powerful purposes for us in our lives. To live in that space is not healthy, but to be able to access it for the power of permutation or transmutation for yourself is something that's very, very powerful. So begin with honoring your true emotions, honoring the experience for yourself, looking at those things in a way that feels truthful and authentic for you. Then as you engage in that process of something that I would term shadow work, right, which is that integration, coming to terms, acknowledgement, feeling space, you'll start to see when you step into an energy of forgiveness, because you step into an energy of compassion, understanding, and grace. You have an awareness, I'll go back to a phrase I used in the episode 10 there, of big picture energy in understanding the power of the experience as a whole and the opportunity that you have as an individual and a soul to heal and to begin to integrate and move forward with your life. It's really, really powerful, but you have to, when you're in it, you cannot force that. And I think a lot of the problem with the current spiritual community when it comes to this forgiveness aspect, revolves around pushing you into forgiveness and just saying it like it's like you just wake up one day and say, I forgive whoever, and you move on with your life. It's a process, it's a journey, it's an experience, and I think it's important that you not rush yourself through it at all, that you be kind to yourself through the understanding and coming to terms with the effect that this person or experience has had upon you. And then you can step into the energy of forgiveness, which really is about understanding, compassion, and grace. It's an allowance of, it's very similar actually to the Judgment card in tarot, because it's like you have an understanding and you're able to fully release the hold that the past has on you in regards to that area in your life. So it is a rebirth, really. It's not about condoning someone's actions or saying something was okay. That's not the case at all. It's about an experience of full release and rebirth for yourself. Something really powerful happens when you release an attachment to another individual or an experience that's really holding you and keeping you in a past space. So I really want to encourage you to sit with, if you're on your own healing journey in regards to painful, traumatic life experiences that have defined you, don't rush yourself through the process of forgiveness, but be open to knowing that you will know when it's time to walk through the experience and the energy of forgiving. Primarily, is it for yourself? Honestly, yes, but not in that way of a defensive state. It's valuing yourself, honoring your worth enough to know that you deserve to not be defined for the rest of your life by one painful, traumatic, or visceral experience. And it's through the releasing of that which of course I'm going to encourage you to step into ritual and ceremony around if that's your jam. It's through that experience that we're really able to set ourselves free and to no longer be defined through every moment of our lives by that past experience. So when it comes to forgiveness, I'm not in alignment with the trite, forced, just forgive them, let it go. I don't know. I'm so over that let it go thing too, of just like saying, let it go, let it go. It's like, that's so easy to say when you haven't lived through something, but also the act of letting go doesn't just happen in a second. There are all kinds of energetic and emotional things that happen before you step into that really freeing space, right? So the objective when you've faced trauma in your life is to release the hold that those experiences have on you so that you're no longer defined by it, right? But it's not an instant process for that to happen. So don't be hard on yourself about this. And know that when you step into the forgiveness experience, you're really going to feel it. At least for me and in the work I've done with others, we never don't know if you're currently in the energy of offering forgiveness, right? And part of that forgiveness always extends back to ourselves. And that's a part of the process too. It's not just about forgiving the other person who wronged you. There's also an aspect of forgiving yourself, quite often for things that you're holding against yourself that aren't even the case, that it's necessary to step into. So these are my thoughts on forgiveness. I want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to the Patreon viewers who are so beautifully and wonderfully supporting the channel and keeping it going. I also want to say thank you to everyone that has sent such insightful, beautiful questions on this subject and theme. While this is the third and final installment in episode 10 or video 10 in this series, I am going to continue to devote video content to answering questions on these types of themes. So please feel free to send me any questions or thoughts you have on that in the comment box down below, or you can hit me up on Insta if you send me a DM there. I try to check those once a week at least and write those all down in my little analog life list so that I can make and create more video content for you on these themes. But I will be addressing these areas in the future. I just like these 3 videos together, and I feel like they should tell their own story in the timeline of the channel. So thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's an honor and a blessing to sit in sacred space with you and to share thoughts with you as well. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.